Hello everyone, welcome back to Planet Coaster. So in the last episode, we got the entrance taken care of, right? As you can see right now, and based on the title of this video, we're working on the Christmas Wonderland part of the park. I will say that it took a lot of time to get into doing this. There's a lot more involvement than what I thought there was going to be in actually building not just the park, but the rides and stuff like that. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually going through, you saw at the beginning to where I had the, I went through and, made sure the snow was all down and everything, and now I put trees up to kind of give that differentiation between the two areas. And now what I'm doing, I figured I'd kind of throw a mountain in here, just kind of break things up a little bit. I thought it was going to be a little boring just to have trees all the way along down the side there. So went ahead and put that little mountain in there, and then added in some rocks and stuff like that. This transition between the two worlds and everything, I want it to have that distinct definition in between. You're going from the frozen Arctic over into the hot, steamy desert. And that's what I'm going for there. Now, starting off, it was, I don't know, it was a little bit of a challenge. First I'm going through and I'm getting the river put through the rest of this area, just trying to figure out exactly how that's going to look. And then, of course, I'm looking at this and I'm going, well, that doesn't look too kosher here, so let's go ahead and lighten it up with the snow underneath the water. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out exactly what I did here and how I did it. But yeah, so first spot of this area was, getting in and making sure stuff kind of matched with it, So like this right here, using the pathway and everything, looks really nice, really pretty. I was looking for a ride to put in, that's where I found this one. And I was like, okay, this kind of matches, the scheme of what I'm wanting to do, right? And then now going through trying to get the just the decoration piece of it put in here. There's not really, I mean, there's preset buildings and stuff like that, but there's only so much of those, until you go through and you start seeing different thing or the same thing over and over and over again. So what I decided to do here at first, as you can see, is to put a Christmas tree up, because it is the Christmas Village, or the Christmas Wonderland. Went through with the presents, got some presents around the tree, started looking at the bulbs and everything, and then I keep forgetting that you can actually go in and change the colors to these. So that's how I was able to get pretty much the color scheme that I wanted for this. I found a couple bulbs that I wanted, changed the colors on them a little bit, and then went through and just kind of, made sure it was pretty symmetrical all the way around. Here over the next few minutes, we're gonna see, really just kind of adding, just these little elements in here, with the mounds and trees. I know there's gonna be a couple buildings that I put in here. Let's see, another ride. Oh yeah, that one goes over there. Oh yeah, this was really interesting. So it's actually been a couple days since I've actually looked at this video, so bear with me. Probably should have went through and actually, watched the video itself so I could remember what I was going to commentate, but, where's the fun in that? Anyway, so here I'm trying to think of a really neat and interesting way, to kind of make this pop, to make this be like, wow, this is really cool. We really want to, well, let's walk down this path and see where we're going and kind of keep the guests entertained with it, right? So that's what I did here, and then here I am trying to build a snowman. Now the snowman was a little difficult at first, and a lot of this is just me trying to figure out the controls of this, trying to figure out what the shortcuts are, what's the easiest way to get around to do this, and then really kind of just keeping my sights in there on, is this going to be beneficial for what I'm building? Is this going to look right? Is it not going to look right? I question those things a lot when I'm doing this kind of stuff. So really just going through, getting the village built up, and here's what I'll do. I'll go ahead and let you guys watch this for a little bit, and then I will be back. Alright, so as you can see, you know, there's a lot of little things that are being put into this, right? You know, just a lot of little pieces that are having to be added in between the trash cans, the benches, and I'm starting to explore more and more of adding things myself, you know, and trying to figure out how that looks and what that looks like. You know, and also experimenting with the special effects, you know, with the snow that was in there and the fireworks that you saw. And then here, you know, just trying to figure out, you know, exactly how are these lights going to look? How can I get this set up? How can it look really neat and really nice? And I got to a certain point, I'm like, well, this is a little bit ridiculous, so I'm kind of going to move away from this for right now, just because it was a little bit much. But that's pretty much what the village of Christmas Wonderland is going to look like. Now I'm going to go into, there's a couple of roller coasters that are going to be built. At first I was like, okay, do I want to do one first of, you know, my own, or do I just want to do a pre-built one? So I found this one and I'm like, ooh, let's go ahead and do this pre-built one, because this actually looks really interesting. Even though it's, you know, the Roman theme or Greek theme, however you want to look at it as, the track matches the color scheme of what I have right now. So went ahead and got this one put in here, added some trees in and stuff like that, and then really started to figure out, okay, this doesn't really need to be on an entire flat piece of land, right? So what I started doing is, as you can see, building up the land around it, just to kind of give that effect of, you know, it was built based on this hill that's right here. You know, that's the reason why it was built this way. And then I started looking at this, and I'm like, okay, I already used this aspect once. Let me go ahead and use this aspect again. I really like it. That way, you know, it's like snowing on people as it comes down, right? And then I started looking around and I was like, okay, these pillars, they're just kind of there. There's not a whole lot going on. So let me try and cover them up a little. Make it look like this is standing on a snow mound, you know, or a rock mound, something within those lines. So I went through and took the rocks, as you can see, and I put it all the way around the entire base of this, and it ended up turning out to be pretty darn good. I actually really liked the way it turned out. Now, this next part that we're going to be looking at is actually going to be a roller coaster that I actually decided to build. It took me a minute to figure out exactly which one I wanted to do, but I went with this one because, you know, we're in the Arctic, it's a big bird. I don't exactly know what my rationale was with that. I don't really remember, but anyway, so I started building this roller coaster and I'm like, oh god, okay, this is going to be a challenge because, one, I've never built a roller coaster in this game before from scratch, you know, so I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know what any of the keys are, how to do it, how to maneuver it around, but it actually really wasn't that hard to figure out once I got used to it. And then on top of that, the game actually kind of auto places the track for you if you're going in the wrong direction, or if you think you want to go one way, the roller coaster is actually like, well, you really need to go this way instead of that way in order for this to work, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, right there at the end, I'm like, okay, I need to use autocomplete because I need to get this figured out. All right, next is going in, getting this stuff added in here, right? And so I'm getting the pathway put in here, and then I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, there has to be something better that I can do with this. It can't just fly around, you know, by itself. So I said, okay, let's go ahead and build some rocks around it. You know, have it make it look like it's going through this rocky either mountain or hillside, something along those lines. You know, it's a big bird that's flying in and out of these caverns type of deal. You know, and it's swinging and dodging and moving, and, you know, I was like, okay, so let's go ahead and do something like that. So that's what this is here, and coming up here in just a second, you guys are actually going to be able to ride the roller coaster all the way through. So why don't I go ahead and stop talking, and here we go. So what did you think? I mean, kind of exciting, right? I mean, it was exciting for me just because it, you know, it was my first roller coaster, so I enjoyed it. Anyway, so when I built this up, you know, the queue to go up to here, I didn't realize that there was nothing underneath it, so I said, okay, I need to do something really interesting here to give it that little bit of a wow factor. So I was like, okay, why don't I do this? Why don't I go ahead and put like a bunch of rocks down underneath it to kind of look, you know, make it look like that the pathway is sitting on top of all of these rock mounds. And I actually really enjoyed doing this. It was a lot of fun. And then I got to looking at this and I said, okay, what can I put in front of here? What can I do? And I didn't want to use just some kind of stock in-game building or anything, right? I wanted to build my own. I wanted to do something on my own and make it look unique. And it's definitely going to be unique, that's for sure. I am not the best at this. I will warn you right now, I am not the best at this. My attempt here is to make a gingerbread house, okay? What am I trying to say? Trying to do this is not the easiest thing in the world if you don't know what you're doing. Okay, it's not. It's not. but I do know that with practice, it will be a lot easier. I can tell that the more I'm doing it, the easier it's getting. Especially with the gingerbread house, the longer that I did it, the easier it got. There were some aspects of building the gingerbread house that I was like, oh my god, you've got to be kidding me. The roof being one of them. The roof was kind of awful. And I got to a point with the roof, I said, okay, you know what, I'm done. I'm not doing anything else. I'm gonna leave it because I can't do it. I just can't do it. Now, as you can see right here, I think I already went past it a little bit. But put the front door on there. I'll come back to that here in a second. But you know, in true gingerbread house conditions, you know, adding on that little bit of icing that was on there, you know, kind of puts the icing on the cake in a sense. I mean, when it comes to that. But you know, I really enjoyed putting this together. And I don't know, let me know what you think once I'm completely done with it. I'll go ahead and cut out for now and be back with you guys in just a moment. Alright, let me preface this by saying, again, new to the game, trying to figure it out. So what you're going to see here is me trying to figure out exactly why all of this stuff is happening, right? I left the game running for a little while. Okay, so I left the game running for like 2 hours. So there were some hiccups that happened in the game. And figured out that, you know, I had to go in and hire a bunch of vendor staff. And, you know, I was trying to ride a ride and I was wondering, why can't I ride this thing? Well, that's because it's broken, you big dummy. So I had to go in and hire mechanics because I didn't have any. Oh, boy. So anyway, got that taken care of. As you can see, nice little overview of the park so far. It looks great. It looks phenomenal. We're going to go in and we're going to ride this roller coaster next. hope you guys enjoyed that. I know I did. So anyway, that is, you know, the roller coasters that I put in and the start of the Christmas Wonderland. As you can see, you know, it looks great. It looks beautiful. I know that the roller coasters were a little grainy. I have figured that out. So in the upcoming episodes, you should see a much better video quality when it comes to, when it comes to that. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode. If you liked it, give it a like. Go ahead and subscribe today if you haven't done so already. Thank you everyone for joining me today. It has been fun. Stay tuned for the end credits. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.